Hey there, Singaporean investors. Are you tired of sifting through endless news trying to figure out what truly matters for your SGX portfolio? Maybe you're wondering how today's market moves impact your investments. Welcome to the Investing Iguana's daily SGX Market Digest for July 16th, 2025. I'm Iggy, and in the next few minutes, I'm cutting through the noise to bring you the critical updates, hidden insights, and my unique take on exactly what happened on the SGX today and what it means for your money. No jargon, just clear, actionable intelligence you won't find anywhere else. The Investing Iguana is ranked 8th in the 2024 Influential Tigers by Tiger Brokers. We've crossed the 1 million mark for reads, and with over 900 videos and 500,000 watch hours, content is literally all I do. I also focus on regional and global economic trends, giving you that broader context. So let's dive into today's most important SGX movements because you don't want to miss what's impacting your portfolio right now. Yesterday's SGX action showed a mixed bag of corporate developments, with travel demand recovery, property sector funding moves, and some major privatization activities shaping the narrative. The overall market sentiment remained cautious, but there were some standout performers that caught my attention. Let's start with Singapore Airlines, our national carrier that's been riding the post-pandemic recovery wave. The big news here is their June passenger traffic surged 4.5% year-on-year, driven by strong travel demand across all regions as summer season kicked in, along with Singapore's mid-year school holidays. What really caught my attention is their passenger load factor hit 88.7%. That's airline speak for how full their planes are. Both SIA and Scoot are packing passengers in, with Scoot hitting an impressive 92.2% load factor. The stock closed up 4.8% at $7.36 on Tuesday. And here's why this matters. Their traffic growth of 4.5% actually outpaced their capacity expansion of just 3.1%. That's the sweet spot every airline wants. More demand than supply. They carried 3.5 million passengers combined, with Scoot showing particularly strong growth at 13.2% year-on-year. This tells us the budget travel segment is bouncing back even stronger than premium travel. But let's dig deeper. Are we seeing a permanent shift in travel patterns or just pent-up demand finally being released? The summer travel season is traditionally strong, but these numbers suggest something more sustainable. The fact that both full-service and budget arms are performing well indicates broad-based recovery across different traveler segments. Now let's talk about City Developments Limited, where the family boardroom soap opera finally reached its next chapter. Philip Yeo announced his retirement after 16 years on the board, and this isn't just any retirement. This is the guy who backed Chairman Kwek Leng Beng in that bitter family feud against his son Sherman earlier this year. The stock barely moved, closing down just 0.2% at $5.57 before the announcement. But here's what investors should really focus on. Yeo's departure removes a key voice that called out governance issues during April's annual general meeting. Remember, he openly criticized the appointment of new directors, saying it was done through majority bullying. This signals we might finally be moving past the internal drama that's been hanging over CDL. For property investors, this could mean management can now focus on actual business instead of boardroom battles. The question is, will this newfound stability translate into better operational performance? CDL has solid assets, but governance concerns have been weighing on investor sentiment. Sometimes the best thing for a company is to clean house and start fresh. UOL Group made a smart financial move by issuing $225 million in notes at a competitive 2.78% yield. The notes are set to list on SGX today, and they're part of UOL's massive $2 billion multi-currency medium-term note program. The stock dropped 1.3% to $6.75 before the announcement, but don't read too much into that. This funding exercise shows UOL is preparing for opportunities. With DBS and UOB as joint lead managers, they're clearly positioning themselves for potential acquisitions or development projects. In today's rising interest rate environment, securing funding at 2.78% is actually quite attractive. This tells us UOL's credit profile remains strong, and they're being proactive about their capital structure. Smart property companies are locking in funding now before rates potentially climb higher. TalkMed shareholders overwhelmingly approved the privatization offer from Tamarind Health. Here are the key numbers. 89.1% of voting shareholders said yes, representing 99.9% of shares at the meeting. The offer price is 45.6 cents per share, and shares last traded at 45.5 cents. This is textbook privatization execution. The Competition and Consumer Commission already cleared the deal in June, and now it's just a matter of court approval around August 5th. Final delisting is expected by September 2nd. For healthcare investors, this consolidation makes sense. Tamarin Health, backed by Temasek's 65 equity partners, is building a pan-Asian oncology platform. The combined entity will likely have better bargaining power with insurers and can offer more specialized cancer treatments. Sometimes the best validation of your investment thesis is when someone else is willing to pay a premium to take the entire company private. Amara's privatization story reached its conclusion as DRC Investments exercised compulsory acquisition rights at 89 cents per share. The consortium, led by property developer Hua Hong, now owns the hotel group outright. Trading has been suspended since June 11th. This deal values Amara at about $514.6 million, and it's particularly interesting because the company's own chairman, Alberteo, and his daughter hold 30% of the acquiring vehicle. Sometimes the best deals are when management teams take their companies private. They know the business better than anyone. The hotel sector has been through a tough period, but with travel recovering, timing might be perfect for a private turnaround. Sea Atrium delivered some positive news with the impending delivery of Petrobras 78, their floating production storage and offloading vessel to Brazilian oil giant Petrobras. The stock jumped 2.8% to $2.18 on Tuesday. This FPSO can produce 180,000 barrels of oil per day and store 2 million barrels. It's heading to Brazil's Búzios field, which is the world's largest deepwater oil field. For Sea Atrium, this represents their 37th FPSO project, showing they're a serious player in offshore oil infrastructure. What's impressive is their global delivery model. They build components across Singapore, China, and Brazil. This diversification helps manage costs and risks. With oil prices remaining elevated, demand for offshore production facilities should stay strong. All right, let's pull all of today's movements together into Iggy's daily market take. What we've seen on the SGX today, particularly with the mix of recovery stories, corporate governance cleanup, and strategic positioning, really underscores a crucial point for us retail investors. The most crucial takeaway today, in my opinion, is how different sectors are at different stages of their recovery and restructuring cycles. We're seeing travel demand genuinely picking up with SIA's strong numbers, while property companies like UOL are smartly positioning themselves with cheap funding. Meanwhile, healthcare and hospitality are seeing consolidation through privatizations. This reminds us to always keep an eye on sector rotation and where the smart money is positioning itself. Today's movements underscore the importance of not just picking stocks, but understanding the broader industry trends driving them. Think about how your current holdings align with these recovery cycles. Are you positioned in sectors that are just starting their upswing, or are you chasing ones that have already peaked? The privatization activity with TalkMed and Amara also shows that quality companies with strong fundamentals are attracting strategic buyers. When management teams or strategic investors are willing to pay premiums to take companies private, it often signals underlying value that the public market hasn't fully recognized. For the broader Singapore market, these developments suggest we're in a phase of maturation and consolidation. Companies are cleaning up governance issues, securing funding at attractive rates, and strategic players are identifying value opportunities. This environment often creates pockets of opportunity for savvy retail investors who can identify these trends early. That's the scoop for the SGX today, July 16th, 2025. Navigating these daily market shifts is crucial for your wealth growth right here in Singapore. If you found this digest helpful and want to get my real-time analysis, urgent insights, and a daily heads up on crucial market movements delivered to you up to a week before anyone else sees them, then our premium membership is for you. It's just $1 a month, less than a cup of coffee. Think of it as your daily dose of market foresight directly from my desk. Ready to stay ahead in the Singapore market? Just click the link in the description below to become a member. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow investors, and leave a comment below with your thoughts on today's market. I always read them.